And I'm sorry, there is a little bit more noise than we would like. But there is a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about what is happening in India. And unfortunately, that is leading to destruction of property, violence. It is one thing in democracy to protest, but the protests have to be peaceful as prescribed under the Constitution and not use it as a tool to achieve political goals. So,
No, that's okay. No, I'll tell them.
No, it does not. You cannot. It's a public place. Keep the.
no. Yeah, but they still have to speak.
Thank you.
I told them.
Thank you, sir.
So here is a situation that India has been facing, and this is not new, it is going back many years. There are people that have migrated from Afghanistan. With this Taliban rule going on, there were 28,000 Sikhs in Afghanistan. They all migrated to India, 28,000 Sikhs. Nobody left it. There were over 20,000 Hindus and some Christians, they all left. And they all are settled in India. Same way, thousands of people moved from Pakistan and from Bangladesh and have moved into India. And for last 20-30 years, they have no status. Their children cannot go to colleges because they require citizenship. I give you an example that happened recently. It is slightly different, but that highlights the plight. Now, India had given a one-time exception to Tamils when Sri Lankan war was going on. Almost 481,000 Tamils were given one-time citizenship, but that was one-time exception. So about 2 months ago, I got a call from one of the friends in Northwest Indiana that there is a Tamil girl who had migrated from Sri Lanka, living in Tamil Nadu. She won the local competition in swimming, and she qualified to participate in Florida in international swimming competition. But she was the girl of a refugee, had no status. So she had no papers to move, come outside India to participate in tournament. Very talented girl. Now there are almost 500,000 people like this who are living in parts of India who have migrated from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan who are living with no status. So what were the options? What were the options for any government? Either you expel them back forcibly, you go and live with the Taliban, and who is going to be able to do it? Then they would have said Indian government is inhumane. They fed the human beings to the wolves. Or you keep them stateless, but now they have grown up, their children are growing up. Where will they go to college? Because no college will accept them. They have no status. So what will they do on the street? Or you give them a one-time exception, citizenship. That is what exactly India did. In fact, USA many years ago gave asylum, you can say citizenship, to 11 million people. It was a one-time exception. And now, our own Congress here is discussing DACA, where the students who are born here and who are talented. So, to say that something unusual is happening in India, no, that's what USA has done. Many countries have done. So this is a one-time exception that the Parliament passed, that people who came here through December 31st, 2014. So it's when, for last 20-30 years, it was not that what BJP was in power. They all came during the non-BJP rule. And not only that, I have the speech, Manmohan Singh in 2003, and his video is circulating. He appealed to Bajpayee government, please give citizenship to these people. And now the same Congress party for political purposes is trying to set fire because they have nothing against Modi. So this has become a political tool. What government has done is a humanitarian thing. People who are living in as refugees for last 20, 30 years, their children are born in India to give them status. So all this is a humanitarian thing to help the people who are already in India for last so many years. And there is a cutoff date of 31st December 2014. So it's not, BJP imported all those people. They are already there for all these years. And the cutoff date is 14. And Modi came to power in May of 2014. So these are all people, this is a humanitarian thing. And now, can other people of other religion get asylum in India? The answer is yes. But there are two tracks. One is an individual track, and second is a one-time exception track. So this is a one-time exception track. The individual track is still open. People can apply to Government of India, but they have to prove individually that they have been persecuted. I give an example like this. When I was a doctor in India, they had a flat exemption that anybody who had medical degree from abroad and had passed CFMG, they get blanket approval to get green card. So it was not individual exception. You apply, and if you can prove that you have passed from foreign medical school and you have passed CFMG, I got my green card within 6 weeks. You apply by mail, you get that was a blanket approval. They took away the blanket approval, now it is individual approval. You can still get green card as a doctor, but you have to prove that you have exceptional qualification. So, even people from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, or for any matter, even USA, if they want to go and apply for citizenship in India, they have to prove that they are refugees and how they are persecuted. Now this religious persecution business goes on everywhere. Even people who are crossing the border illegally from Mexico to here, they complain that we are religiously persecuted in this country, that country, and seek political asylum or religious asylum in USA. That goes on all over the world. Yes. So that route of individual exception is still open to anybody of any religion. But here, this one-time exception was made to people who were already in India for last 20, 30 years. And it was done as a humanitarian gesture, so these guys can get, and especially their children get going with the business of having education and other things. Now there is another very interesting thing. So read this gazette, I have the example. There is something, we are NRIs here. There is a clause there for the NRIs, which nobody has talked about. People who are, this is part of the CAA, Citizenship Amendment. People who are OCI card holders, if their card is to be disciplined or revoked, they have the right to appeal, in the sense they have to be given an opportunity to give their views. So really, if you look at it as an OCI card holder, this is probably most important to us. So it is part of the official gazette, right? Let me read what it says. It's interesting that it says in section 7D of the Principal Act, the overseas citizens of India card holders has violated any of the provisions of this act or provisions of other law for time served as specified by the central government in the notification, provided that no order under this section will be passed unless the overseas citizen of India cardholders have been given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. So you have a right to appeal. Guys, for NRI, this is important. So that is part of the Citizenship Amendment Act. So there are two parts. One is related to these refugees, and they have included all minorities. Now, they might say, why did you not include everybody? Well, religious persecution occurs against minority, not against the majority. You can't say in a Christian country that Christians are being persecuted, or in a Muslim country, Muslims are being persecuted. And if they still feel that they are being persecuted, they can still apply under the individual exception. But it has all become political. Nobody reads. That's why I bought the actual Gazette of India. What was the past? And if they read, they say, what is the big deal? These guys are already here. What are you going to do to them? Kill them? So that's what the amendment is. So I hope that you can educate the people what this really amendment is all about.
Sure.
Very straightforward, very brief presentation.